One more weekend. One more weekend until we finally have Texas Longhorns football, and you won't be seeing it on TV, but we hopefully will be seeing it live and in person as fall camp opens up on Tuesday, Cody. And so we had to bring back final takes. It's a final takes Friday. We got to get into some final takes before fall camp gets started. Of course, we have to start out by thanking our sponsor here, the title sponsor of our show, Man Eye Institute. See life better. Make sure and give them a call at 1-844-WOW-2020. 844-WOW-2020. The Man Eye Institute is it's brought to Central Texas the next level of LASIK. It's only available at one other place in the whole nation. So how lucky we are to have the Man Eye Institute right here in our backyard. How lucky we are to have them as a presenting sponsor here for us. They're the reason for the show. They're the reason we can do the show. And so we thank them and we tell you to give them a phone call at 844-WOW-2020 for all of your vision needs. The Man Eye Institute. See life better. All right, Cody. Final takes.
Final takes, baby.
Everyone knows the rules. Vote for who you think wins final takes in the comments below. We'll tally them up and know who the king of the weekend is. Let's get started. Let's throw one up.
All right. I'll start here. This is an easy layup here. Final takes. Who will be the biggest riser after the first week of Longhorns Fall Camp? And by riser, I'm going to say just like the one that people are shocked by. We get, comments. We go and see him. It's like, whoa, that guy's massive. That guy's running with the first team. That guy's a difference. It's a big difference in our expectation versus what we're seeing.
So it takes guys out of the. It takes like Arch Manning and Colin Simmons and Ant Hill out of the equation.
Some lazy chalk where you're like, Colin Simmons.
I like the chalk. It's all.
He's going to look 10 pounds heavier. He's going to look like an alien. It's like,
hey,
well,
dude, taking all the Colin Simmons last year sure was helpful for me. The biggest riser after I think there's one correct answer here. It's got to be Murad Watson, right?
Ooh.
Because you get to camp. Close. Some people just don't really know what to think of the guy. No one's seen him. The transfer defensive tackles that have come in so far, you've kind of looked at them. They had a spring of practice where it was like where they didn't look bad, but what you heard from the staff and you heard from people behind the scenes was that we're actually maybe a little bit more worried about the defensive line than we are about the offensive line, where we're replacing 4 starters. And so the fact that they came out of spring ball saying we have to bring in like not just one, but 2 more of these guys, right? Kind of shows you where that unit was. Murad Watson, the transfer from Syracuse, the freshman All-American last year, right on the tip of Steve Sarkisian's tongue when he talks about this being one of the best defenses that he's had. And he lists off the best defense that he's had at Texas. One of the first names he mentions as kind of proof of that is Murad Watson. I feel like once the media gets our eye on this guy, we're going to be talking about him like one of the key pieces on the defense. I don't think that's where the narrative is around him right now.
I like that. I thought about Cole Brevard. I thought about Murad Watson. Those 2 feel good. I'm going to say the offensive tackles. I'm going to say we're going to go in there. We're going to come out. We're going to say, damn, Gooseby does look damn. And then you're also going to look the other side, and Brandon Baker is going to be, there's no longer going to be a question. I was thinking about doing a write-up this week about like big matchups to watch or big, competitions to watch this fall. And I was like, man, is this Baker Kojo thing really going to be a thing? And as it was during the spring, I'm like, it's not. It's Brandon Baker's going to come in. Brandon Baker's going to be, within 2 weeks. Yep, that's why we paid him. Yep, that's why he's a starting right tackle. And we're going to look at these two tackles and Gooseby and Baker and go, this might be the best tackle duo Texas has had in the last 3 years of having really good tackle duos.
All right, here's the next one. Let's do this one. Final takes. Buy or sell. By the end of fall camp, one of the freshman running backs will be seen as a definite projected contributor in 2025. So by the end of fall camp, we're going to say, and that would mean that one of those guys would be one of the biggest risers, right? Because I don't think that, speaking of risers, I don't think that's how anybody is talking about either of the freshman running backs right now. But we definitely have heard, now it doesn't look like CJ Baxter is going to be ready to go. So maybe that can open up a little bit of a runway for either James Simon or Ricky Stewart Jr. I'm selling though. I think by the end of fall camp, we're going to be looking at either a guy like Christian Clark or a guy like Jarrett Gibson and saying, well, it's just a lock that those guys are definitely going to have to play.
Yeah, I'm going to sell as well because of just that. I think the Baxter thing to me, if I was Texas, no, I'm not, and I'm not going to tell coach what to do. But with the team that they have and the roster they have and the schedule they have, I wouldn't force him back for that Ohio State game. I would hold him for the Florida game. I would be like, all right, just give him an extra month to get through that, the Sam Houston, that schedule, and then be ready for the Florida game would be where I would have him ready to go. I would sell here because I think that, like you just said, I think Jarrett Gibson, Sarkis talked about Jarrett Gibson in great light. Obviously, Trey Wisner shouldn't have a problem doing what Trey Wisner did last year. And then I do like Simon stepping up and stepping through. We got to remember he was getting some glowing remarks through spring ball, and he wasn't even supposed to be like doing anything, and he was. So I'll be interested to see what Clark looks like after the first week of practice.
All right. What's the next one we have up here? How about this one about the wide receivers? So buy or sell Emmett Mosley versus Parker Livingstone. It's a fun talking point, but it doesn't matter because both will play significant snaps and contribute in 2025. Are you buying or are you selling?
I'm buying. I think this is a moot point. I think we talked about it when Emmett Mosley signed with Texas about his utilization in the slot and outside. He's a big body, 6'2", 205-pound receiver that feels like on tape he's about 5'10", 170, but he's not. He's actually bigger than that. And I think the utilization of Wingo at X, Moore and Mosley inside, Mosley and Livingstone outside, all these guys are going to get plenty of run in this offense, and they're all going to be, not equal contributors, but I think the pecking order is going to be Moore, Wingo, and then these two, Mosley and Livingstone. They're going to be on the field a ton.
I think it's going to be a lot like last year. I agree with you. I think that Livingstone and Mosley are both going to play more than like the wide receiver 5 last year, which was Silas Bolden. Yeah. I think that's your top 4. And just looking at last year's, the top 4 as far as total overall snaps, Matthew Golden played 72% of snaps. Isaiah Bond played 51% of snaps. Wingo played 47% of snaps, and DeAndre Moore played 41% of snaps. And then after that, you have why you get down to wide receiver 5 at Silas Bolden, you're down to like 23%. And so I think that it's going to be kind of like that. I think you're going to have probably Wingo is going to be the kind of Matthew Golden type that's going to be playing like the 70+%. And that maybe you get one of these guys like I think that DeAndre Moore, if he plays significantly more in the slot, which I probably think is true, you're going to have his snaps capped at that 40 to 45% rate anyway, just because of the 12 personnel that Texas is going to want to play, right? I think that maybe between Livingstone and Mosley, one of those guys might be higher than like Bond at 51% because Bond did miss some time last year, but I don't think Livingstone's going to be playing less than 40% of snaps. I don't think Mosley will be either. So yeah, I completely agree. I'm gonna buy that. It's fun to talk about, but they're both those guys are going to play.
All right, last one, easy one here to finish out on. Nick Saban had a report today. Obviously, the report last week from Greg McElroy said that Saban was going to come back.
What's the report today?
Saban told Fox News that he will not be returning to coaching just days after Greg McElroy brought it up. Saban said, "There's no opportunity that I know of right now that would enhance me to go back to coaching. I enjoy what I'm doing. I did it for 50 years. I loved it. I love the relationship with players."
Are we talking about the report that came out that he would take the Browns job with Arch Manning or something?
I have nothing to do with the Browns thing. This is just what he said to Fox like an hour ago. I did it for 50 years. I love the relationships. I love the competition. I'm going to say he's coming back to coaching this calendar year. Name the school.
I'm selling that. He's not coming back to coaching.
It's not a buy or sell. It's a name the school. Name the school. He said there's not, this is in his words, there's no opportunity that I know of right now that would enhance me to go back to coaching. What's the opportunity that would enhance him to go back to coaching? Because it's out there. He said it. The way he phrased it, he would say, I'm done. I'm retired. He wouldn't say, There's no opportunity out there that I know of right now that would enhance me to go back to coaching.
That would enhance me? Do you mean entice me?
That's what he said. This is what the quote is: enhance me. I think entice makes the most sense, but it was quoted as enhance. I'm saying that's too much wiggle room in that answer. If there was a job out there that enticed him to come back, name the school.
Well, I don't think he would not come back to the SEC.
Because he doesn't want
Right?
to compete against Bama.
He just, yeah. What do you want to get? You want to be like the Darth Vader, the Kalen DeBoer's got to go against every year. Like, I don't think he would come back to the SEC. If I thought he might want to come back to the SEC, well, okay, who are the coaches who are going to get fired? So Pittman's probably getting fired. Oh,
Levy.
okay. So
Arkansas money would be interesting with Calipari there.
no, dude.
Michigan State, that's my answer.
He's not going to go to Michigan. Are you kidding me?
Go to the Big Ten in the same state as Michigan. You could completely neuter Michigan being Nick Saban, and you could take over the Big Ten and just tell them like, "Hey, the big dog's here. Step aside."
There's only one correct answer to this question. Same colors, same type of blue blood program. It is in the SEC. Certainly a lot of connections to to their new general manager who's from the area. The best answer is when Brent Venables gets fired, he takes the job at Oklahoma.